Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are tracking storms across Oklahoma, Colorado, and portions of Texas this afternoon. Let's go ahead and get started here. Hey, comment where you're watching from because we have talked about several different areas in the path for storms today. Where are you watching from? Where should we be focusing this forecast on? Monsoonal moisture. Yes, a lot of people have felt this. I mean, we have had rain and rain, shower after shower here in Oklahoma the last few days. I feel like we may never dry out. Denver hail. Is Denver going to get a hailstorm today? You guys are in the risk. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. And cooler weather sticking around for the weekend. Hello, fall. We are still feeling those fall-like conditions. I love this fall-like weather. I have my sweater dress on today. I feel very autumn-like. Let's go ahead and talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday, those storms just outside of Colorado started in Kansas with high winds and a little bit of hail. We continued to see showers and storms through the overnight hours all the way through central to eastern Oklahoma, where we do have some flood watches in place at the moment. Now, this line of storms, just out ahead of this line of storms, we'll see stronger to severe storms hugging the Red River all the way into the southern portion of Arkansas, the northwestern portion of Louisiana, and the northeastern portion of Texas. There's one area for storms today. The other area out in places like Denver. Right now, actually, let's go back. I hit too many buttons too fast. I confused the computer. Okay, there we go. There's your risk for today. I talked about that slight risk that's sitting down in Texarkana into Dallas. We've also got a slight risk that does include Denver and then into eastern Colorado. Tomorrow, we go to the eastern side of Colorado, just a little bit further east than what we see today. New Mexico, portions of Oklahoma, Texas, and Nebraska. And we've got a slight risk, a marginal risk, a level 1 risk down in Houston. We've got a little warm front. That's going to help to initiate storms later on today. We've got a stationary front just sitting over the mountains. So what that's going to do is it pushes a little bit to the east. We could see more storms pop up later on today. And we'll talk about timing here in just a few minutes. Quiet right now on the East Coast. Really, that big storm system is sitting across Arkansas right now, where we are watching for some flooding and cooler temperatures. It's really, really comfortable out there right now. 72 in Oklahoma City, but 92 in Dallas. It's hot out there in Texas. Temperatures are staying very summer-like in Texas. We've cooled down a little bit on the West Coast, so it looks like temperatures have returned to that classic fall-like weather. You do have a flood watch in effect right now in places like Texarkana and northern Louisiana. Let's get out of the rain. And let's go into those severe hazards. We're going to talk about hail, wind, and tornado risks over the next few minutes. Again, let us know where you're watching from today. Are you watching from Texarkana? Are you watching from Louisiana, hoping for a hail risk in this area? Or are you watching from up in Colorado, where we do have a decent chance for hail today? Now, how large are those hail sizes? All right, you're not going to love this. I would say up to golf ball size hail, maybe a few 2 inches in there. Our significant hail model truly is not that impressive. What we want to see on days like this are those oranges and maybe even the reds mixing into our hail model here, but what we really see is we stick anywhere from that yellow to that orange color, signifying that our largest hail size will be anywhere between that golf ball to maybe 2-inch hen egg size hail. But still, right along I-25, you've got a pretty good chance for hail today, so we like to see that. Again, largest hail size, golf ball size hail. I didn't change too much there, but I did add an orange polygon here to signify that we could get larger hailstones in this area, anywhere from Cheyenne to Denver, Colorado Springs, and Lehman, Colorado. Right along I-25, that's where storms are going to be this afternoon, and then they're going to track to the east. It's messy. It's a disorganized setup this afternoon. We'll talk about timing here in just a few minutes. Hail down in Oklahoma, Texas, Texarkana, not very promising. If we do see any hail in this area, it'll probably be pretty small. We just don't have a ton of forcing in this area. However, The chance for a tornado is possible down in Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas, and for some high winds. I think that if we have a place for some strong wind speeds today, I would take you down into Oklahoma. That is where I'd put those high wind speeds at. Maybe 60 up to 70 miles an hour. Strong wind is possible anywhere from Dallas to Wichita Falls, over most of northern, central, and eastern Texas, Sulphur Springs, and even Shreveport, trying to get in with some of those strong winds today. Your tornado forecast, it's a level 1. A few isolated tornadoes are possible right along the warm front. So especially where temperatures are really warm, that's where we could see that potential tornado threat from Durant to Hugo, Idabel, and Sulphur Springs. Now you guys know that fall tornadoes are very, very possible. Idabel, I think actually the last 2 years has been impacted by a fall tornado. So we know that this is possible. Even a level 1 risk is something that we absolutely want to keep our eye on for today. Again, Texarkana to Sulphur Springs to Idabel, Oklahoma. We are watching for the potential of a tornado today. Now let's go back to that hail risk. Let's talk about Denver once again. Now we're going to have 2 rounds of storms here. That first round of storms coming in this afternoon between about 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. A line of storms right along I-25 is where our focus will be initially, but I told you that it's a messy setup. So slowly storms will start to move off to the east into places like Lehman and Wiggins, Colorado, but I do think that we could see another round of storms behind that initial line later in the night, so after the sun goes down, maybe by midnight or 1 in the morning. So this could be an overnight system. You could see that lightning, that flash of lightning, rumble of thunder through the overnight hours. What's your max hail size in the Denver area? I would say up to golf ball size hail. That chance for quarter size hail, I gave it a level 2 today. Level 2 out of 4, not too bad. Chance for anything over golf ball size hail, very, very low. On and off rain possible for Denver today, so if you've got any outdoor plans, try to have a backup option indoors. Cheyenne to Denver to Pueblo, that's where your level 1, that marginal risk is. And just for a reminder of the hazards that we're watching for storms today, your tornado risk is very low. Your hail risk, large hail up to the size of a golf ball, I put it that level 2 category. 40% chance is what I have on here. High winds up to 60 miles an hour. I'm not too terribly worried about that strong wind impact for today, but you are in an excessive rainfall potential, so you could get some flooding in this area. I called this scattered flooding. Not just one area, not just that spot in your neighborhood that always seems to flood. You could also see the intersections on your way home from work also flooded. Now again, you're going to have a better chance for excessive rainfall through the late or overnight hours. So if you're out past 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, that is whenever the flooding potential will be the highest. Let's go on and talk about tomorrow. Oh, let's talk about timeline. We haven't talked about timeline yet. Okay, so this is your future radar for today. You can see that line of storms that are in Oklahoma right now will continue to track down to the south and east into Arkansas and Louisiana through the late night hours tonight and early tomorrow morning. Finally, we get a break from all of that rain here in Oklahoma, but that means that we have all of that rain in places like Louisiana and Arkansas. Let's zoom into Denver first. So let's talk about Colorado, Kansas, Wyoming, and New Mexico, and then we'll go back down into Oklahoma. There again is your timeline for today. Our initial focus is right along I-25, anywhere from New Mexico all the way up to Cheyenne. 5 o'clock tonight, you have scattered showers and storms. We're watching for at least one of these to be our hailer. Now, I don't think it's going to be a widespread hail event. However, at least one of those storms most likely producing some decent sized hail. We'll continue to watch these storms through the overnight hours. Again, I'm very interested to see what happens from some of these storms late tonight. There's no promise there, but there is a potential to see maybe this go strong or severe. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Let's now take you down to Oklahoma, where we have it's a slight risk for storms today. What that means is that it's likely to be very, very scattered showers and storms today. Some of those turning strong to severe, and I think what we're really watching for here is we're watching for those isolated storms. So back here to the north from places like Little Rock into southeastern Oklahoma, these are going to be your rain showers, your monsoonal moisture. These are going to be your flood producers. But out ahead of that line of storms, we've got your isolated storms right here. This is what I'm watching for those hail producers, maybe strong winds, and this could be your potential tornado as well. Again, the most promising place for those severe storms will be anywhere from Texarkana to southeastern Oklahoma, places like Idabel, Hugo, Oklahoma, and then back to the east, right along I-30, and then down to places like Shreveport, especially through the overnight hours tonight. As we start to see the sun go down, that's whenever we could see that chance for rain closer to I-20 in places like Shreveport. Maybe some strong storms in Dallas late tonight and into the overnight hours. That's possible, but your severe risk in Dallas today, what I'm really watching for is the high wind threat. So let's zoom out. We can watch that all again. A lot of people getting rain today. A lot of people getting those cooler temperatures. Are you happy about those cooler temperatures? I am. I'm loving this fall-like weather. Just in time for football season, too. I know we've got lots of games happening here in Oklahoma as football season kicks off. I know we've got a lot of games last weekend as well. So it's officially here. Will it be a wet football Saturday for a lot of people? It could be. Let's talk about your flood outlook here. So your excessive rainfall outlook is what you're looking at right now. The higher that risk, so we've got level 1, level 2, level 3 risk here, the better chance you have for flooding. So we've got scattered flash flooding possible anywhere from Denver to the eastern side of Colorado, not only this afternoon, but into the late evening hours and early tomorrow morning. We have another level 2 risk for flooding from Little Rock to Shreveport. Dallas, I think, is in the level 1 risk for flooding today. Changes a little bit for tomorrow. Still, we have a flooding risk down in the southeast and out in Texas, western Texas now, for tomorrow and Saturday. Again, how many people do you think are watching football games in these areas that are going to get rained on Saturday? Thankfully, Dallas, I think you're going to be mostly dry on Saturday. West Texas, so maybe Lubbock, you could have a very rainy day for football. Moving on to Sunday and Monday, it looks like some of us, especially in the southern portion of the U.S., will stay pretty wet this weekend. Alrighty, moving on to the last 24 hours, we've gotten lots of rain across northeastern Oklahoma. We're going to continue to see that, drifting to the south a little bit through the next 24 hours, and then by tomorrow, all of that rain will be down in the southern portion of the U.S., anywhere from places like Houston all the way into Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. We've got another risk for some hail out in eastern Colorado tomorrow. And then by Saturday, it looks like while we could get some rain, your severe risk is very low. Rain without the risk. That's what we like to see, right? Alrighty, moving on to those potential showers and storms on Saturday.
We got some comments. My chat's not really, but we have some comments in the section.
We've got some comments. Ooh, what are questions that people have? Is Denver done for the season? No. No. Denver, actually, let me look back on I have a Denver hail calendar here. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't show storms that will happen in the future, right? Wouldn't that be nice if I could say, okay, September 22nd, Denver, you're in for a hailer. Wouldn't that be nice? Hang on, let me find it. Okay, so back on September 29th, 2014, 2 years in a row, Denver had major hailstorms. 2 years in a row on September 29th. Now that's technically like out of season, right? We could still see hail even well into September. Denver is one of those places that'll surprise us. It'll be quiet for months, and then all of a sudden, Denver will pop out a big hailstorm. That's absolutely possible. Denver, September 29th. Do you guys remember that big hail event? Dallas, September 24th, had a major hail event, and so did Oklahoma City on September 24th of last year. That seems like a lucky day. September 24th, maybe your lucky numbers are 24. So no, we could absolutely still get hailstorms all the way into the middle to end of September. Don't count it out just yet. So we've got at least another month for significant hailstorms possible. Let's talk about tomorrow. We have showers and storms in Houston tomorrow, so it could be a very late night, Friday night. Lots of lightning, maybe a little bit of thunder in the overnight hours Friday into Saturday morning. Another chance for strong to severe showers and storms in the eastern side of Colorado tomorrow as well. So we've got another line of storms setting up just to the east of Denver tomorrow. Now let's take you out to the tropics. All right, Fernand, it's a fish storm. Fernand the fish storm. It's a low pressure system right now, not even a tropical storm anymore. But we do have another area of interest that we are keeping an eye on. If we go down to this area that's just off the coast of Africa, over the next 2 days, the next 48 hours, we have a 0% chance for anything interesting to happen in this area. However, give it a little bit more time, and I bet by this time next week we'll have a lot more information about this tropical wave that could become a disorganized cluster of storms, and then it maybe could become a tropical storm. We'll have to watch for it, but right now Fernand is the only thing that we have on our radar, and it's going away from the States. It's a fish storm. That next named storm will be Gabrielle, Humberto after that, Imelda following that. Jerry and Karen are also some of our names this year. We're expecting all of those storms at some point in the season. Now, we still have a lot of time left in our season, just like we have a lot of time left to get hail for this year. We have a lot of time left to get tropical storms, hurricanes, major hurricanes. Our 2025 hail trace forecast includes 12 to 17 named storms, 6 to 10 of those to be hurricanes, and 2 to 3 of those to be major hurricanes. And again, we still have plenty of time left in the season. Here we are at the middle to end of August. Climatologically speaking, so looking at the past few years, what would we expect for this year? We expect to just get more and more active as we head into the end of August and early portion of September and early portion of October. Now, I just want to remind you of what happened last year. Last year was an above average active season. But it was a slow start. By July, we only had 5 named storms. By August, we only had 5 named storms. So this time last year, it was a very, very slow start to the season. Finally, by the middle of September of 2024, it was like storm after storm after storm. We had Francine, Gordon, Helene by the end of September. Into early October, Isaac, Joyce, Kirk, Leslie, and Milton. And then finally, by the end of October and into November, our hurricane season continued with even a Cat 4 hurricane, Raphael, at the very beginning to middle of November. So don't count the season over quite yet. We still have a lot of time left in this hurricane season. While it is a little bit quieter, I want to talk about a storm that happened this time 20 years ago. Hurricane Katrina. We are on the 20th anniversary this year. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at this storm. So if you look at all of these lines in here, it looks like a mess, right? All of these storms are storms or hurricanes that have made landfall within 50 miles of New Orleans. Each of these different colors represents a different category of that storm. Obviously, that one in light pink right there, that is Hurricane Katrina. So let's get all of these other storms off of here. I wanted to show you that New Orleans is no stranger to hurricanes. It's no stranger to tropical storms. It was a Category 1 hurricane at that point, but then went into the Gulf of Mexico and then strengthened to a Category 5 hurricane. It rapidly intensified, similar to what you saw with Aaron. But this storm, being so close to land, we knew it was about to make landfall. It took a sharp turn to the north, taking aim on Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, finally weakening to make a second landfall as a Category 3 hurricane, a strong Category 3 hurricane, on August 29th, 2005. Now I want to show you some pictures from that event. John, this is MC2. As we take a look back 20 years later, of course, these pictures still hit hard. Some of these pictures are not even from New Orleans. A lot of them, actually, I got from the panhandle of Florida and portions of Mississippi. just to show you how widespread this storm really was. I'm going to take a minute for you guys to watch these pictures because I think it's important to go back and to remember what happened 20 years ago this week. Wow. Now, some of those boats, those really, really big boats, they washed up on shore, and I've been watching and I've been looking at all of the different impacts that Katrina had. And it was a historic storm, not just a storm that brought a lot of flooding on shore, but then the impacts afterwards were great, right? People were greatly impacted, right? Afterwards, New Orleans experienced extreme heat after that hurricane hit. So people without power, without any AC, then had to endure the extreme temperatures afterwards. Still, that storm continued to track to the north, bringing intensive rainfall all the way up Mississippi. So again, 20 years ago this week, we remember this storm, and we talk about it to remember all of the lessons learned from this storm and how we can be better and more resilient going forward. Moving on, I know that was a little heavy, so we'll continue to move on to those cooler temperatures here. I do have great news to bring you. These cooler temperatures are likely to last all the way through the weekend. Check this out. Temperatures are likely to be 10, 15 degrees below average for this time of the year, not only today, but also tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Most of the U.S., and yes, finally Texas gets in on this autumn action, and we are finally seeing those temperatures, they're staying, right? Texas, I know that you're in the 90s today. 90s tomorrow. What about Saturday? 89? Hey, we'll take it. By Sunday, those temperatures will be in the 70s and 80s. Most of us feeling that nice and cool air coming in. As we look into the very beginning of September, it looks like temperatures are likely to stay below average. So if you like the weather that you're feeling today, good news, that will most likely stick around for the next few weeks. And showers and storms very similar to this will most likely continue, bringing us more rainfall than what we normally would have this time of the year, which I really like to see this, especially out in the western side of the U.S., because this will mitigate our fire danger in this area, which is great news. We want to see that rain to get rid of the fire danger. And there you go. There's your forecast. Checking to make sure that there's no other questions. I think that we've answered most of the questions today. So we appreciate you watching this afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. Make sure that you follow us on all forms of social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and give us a call for more weather maps, hail, wind, tornado maps. Any hailstorm that happens today, our meteorologist will map it in near real time. Give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. Our website, hailtrace.com. Again, that number is 855-334-4245. Thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we'll see you back here, same time,